And William in Austin, Texas, it says here that you want to tell me that I'm a liar. What am I lying about, William?
Well, you're lying about a lot of things, Tom.
Pick one.
It's not just you, it's everybody. Well, Russia collusion, you lied about that.
Okay, so what is my lie about Donald Trump trying to collude with Russia to get himself elected president? What's the lie about that?
That he didn't do that. And you say
you don't think that there was a meeting in Trump Tower where Donald Trump Jr. and his friends got together with an agent of the Russian government and said, who offered some help, and he said, cool.
The point is that you are trying to train your sycophants to accept the lies as long as the lies.
Well, I just knocked down your assertion that I was lying about Russian collusion.
You didn't Russian collusion, and you know it.
Okay, so what's the we'll stipulate we're disagreeing on that, William. What else are you thinking that I'm lying about?
You know that Biden extorted the Ukraine. You know these things.
No, I don't. It's actually there's no evidence of that at all. William, if we're going to just talk over each other, I'm going to hang up on you. There's no point in that. It just makes noise for people. People can't hear what you're saying. They can't hear what I'm saying. If you want to have a conversation, I'm willing to talk to you and give you all the time you want, or at least, within reason. But if you're just going to try and talk over some sort of Fox News SmackDown match, you're going to lose. It's not going to work. So if you want to talk about specific issues, go for it.
Christian nationalism that you're talking about. It's a lie.
You don't think that there are... Go ahead.
This is not the Crusades, Tom. This is not...
But if you don't think that...
back to the Middle Ages is deceptive.
There are people in the United States, a lot of the United States is a Christian nation, which is not what the founders said, and that it should be a white nation. White people should be running it. That is Christian nationalism or Christian white nationalism. And I think it's poison.
That is not true. That is not true. I'm a white Christian.
So am I.
Okay, and I don't think we should go out and get rid of all the other people or practice that sort of discrimination.
Neither do I, William, but there are people who do.
There might be, your Antifa people aren't peaceful protesters either.
I am not hearing from people on the right, I am not hearing from Republican politicians that those people on the right who showed up, for example, in Charlottesville, Charlottesville, Virginia, and marched with the tiki torches and said, Jews will not replace us, and what that meant was they will not replace us with black people. The whole allegation that tripped that off was this argument that George Soros was paying to bring black people in to replace white people in their jobs, right? So this Jews will not replace us.
Very crafted liberal response.
No, I'm telling you the truth. We also and I'm not hearing, Donald Trump defended that.
No, he didn't. He said there were some good people out there and there were some bad people out there.
On both sides,
He's always said that.
That's a defense
on both sides.
of that.
That's right. Just like when he said that we're letting criminals in the United States through the borders, y'all made it sound like he called every Mexican immigrant a killer and a rapist.
Well, he did. That's how he kicked off his presidential campaign, William. He started out by saying there.
No, sir, that's a lie. That's a
you didn't watch his
and you keep repeating it.
You didn't watch his statement when he came down the golden elevator and said, Mexico is sending us killers and rapists.
They were. Not everybody that crosses the line not everybody that crosses the border is a killer.
Okay, so William, you're oh jeez.
He said
okay,
that
so you're going to try. You're just going to try and sanitize Donald Trump here. Why is Donald Trump? Let me, William. What appeals to you about Trump?
What Trump was able to do with the economy, what he was able to do with the border, what he was able to do with the vaccine, what he was able to do with limiting the Marxist takeover of this country.
Okay, at the time he crashed the economy.
No, he didn't crash.
I think you could argue that the virus crashed the economy, but he presided over that. We had the worst economic crash since 1929.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
It just didn't happen, huh?
It did not happen. The the stock market was up wages were up, employment, everything was up and then when Biden was inaugurated, things started to go south, and everybody knows it.
Oh, that's when it happened. I thought it happened back in last summer, when in March, April, May, when we started locking down. I didn't realize it. William, come on, you're living in a. And you said he's stopping. You said he's stopping the Marxist takeover of America. What Marxism are Democrats promoting in your mind?
Well, what's going on right now in New York City is a form of Marxism.
What are you talking about?
And when De Blasio says we're going to start it, we're
mask
going
mandate to get into a restaurant,
requiring people to have a vaccine mandate.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That's
why. I don't recall Karl Marx ever writing about vaccine mandates. I do recall George Washington, I mean, not in my lifetime, but I recall reading about George Washington requiring all the troops at Valley Forge to be vaccinated for smallpox, and he would not take them unless they could show the scab on their arm proving that they had been vaccinated. Seems to me like that's the American way, William.
Well, I disagree with the vaccine part. In the part, the democracy is dying. It's
but how is that Marxism? How is it Marxism to say that if you're potentially sick, you can't come into my place of business?
Of applying power, of using power. It's Marxist.
No, Karl Marx's shtick was from each according to his needs, to each his ability, and to each according to his needs. It was that there is no more privacy, that the government owns everything. The government manufactures goods. I mean, I was in the Soviet Union when it was the Soviet Union. I lived in Germany about 10 miles from the East German border when it was East Germany. I could tell you about how that plays out. It was ugly. And I don't think that, requiring people to show that they're not sick before they can come into a restaurant and cough on other people is that.
What about taking the vaccine and then require them to wear masks again?
Well, now that we know that with the Delta variant, even people who are vaccinated, although they're not going to get sick enough to get ill or die, they can spread the disease to people who aren't vaccinated. It's a simple Christian request that the people who are protected with the vaccine, brothers and sisters who have chosen not to be protected with the vaccine.
The next step will be a mandate. It's always the next step is a mandate. In the Marxism part is the abuse of that central power.
Yeah, what you're talking about, William, is not Marxism. What you're talking about is some kind of tyranny, if you want to understand it in those terms. It's state
I'm talking
power.
About Marxism
and state power is a
point of a gun.
Yeah, and state and
I'm talking about Marxism at the point of the gun, which is communism.
That's government. That is government. Government all over the world. No, it's not communism. It's government. And one of the things
Marxism
that we all need to be very
is communism.
One of the things that we all when the local state government shows up at my office with a gun to tell me that they are taking over my radio show because I no longer can run a private business, then I'll agree with you. But so far it hasn't happened, and it's not happening anywhere in the United States to the best of my knowledge. This is not what you're talking about. Assuming that I'm taking your worldview, that somehow it's oppressive to have the government say I have to have a vaccine, that's not communism, that's tyranny. That is the opposite of liberty.
A little step at a time. You're taking it a little step at a time.
But again,
incrementalism.
With a certain generation, you can throw around the word communism and get people to freak for directions, but I don't think it works anymore. William, I hope we can have future conversations. I'm gonna move along though, because we're starting to. It's just not going anywhere here. But thank you for giving it a good try.